I was just talking to Carrie, you guys, and we just agree that this is, I just said to her, don't you love our life? Guys, so tomorrow, like today's Wednesday evening, and we're doing the recording to introduce you to Guillermo. And so the way we have these apps or these bots set up is just so freaking juicy. And I'm not going to tell you too much because I mean, this is proprietary secrets of how we run our business here. Uh, um, our success sorcery is proprietary on the inside. And I'm just so delighted that Carrie is growing with me. Um, and I just, I'm in a place and space right now where we have so much tech. And I just feel like we have like a Forbes business, Carrie. I just feel like, Forbes 500. Okay, how about the top 10 of Forbes 500? I just really feel like, so far, like, what is this, number seven? So six? Number six. And just everything that's showing up is so freaking juicy. So juicy. And this is what I want to invite you guys to. So Guillermo, as you can see, is a somatic breathwork assistant ally inside the Success Seekers Sanctuary. And why do I want you to do breath work? Well, breathing and how people breathe together is so valuable. It's so freaking valuable. And, like dance is a huge part of my life. And the ability to, like, what do I want to say? To commune with your dance partner is like breathing together. And so, how the world transcends, how the world transforms, how the world manifests, how your inner workings manifest is through breath. And you might be like, oh, I know how to do box breathing. I'm good. Okay, well, go away. Because there's just so much more than that. There's also breath retention, like holding your breath does things. There's lion's breath or whatever that's called. The lion. Do you know what I'm talking about, you guys? Carrie's shaking her head, but anyways, there's a bunch of different breathing techniques. And oh, I think I'm mostly talking about breath of fire because when I was doing the cold plunge, uh, I would go in and it would be like basically 5 degrees out or 3 degrees out, and I would be going into the lake. And in order to be able to stay in the lake for my recommended 3 minutes, I would do breath of fire. And so it's like also, what do you want to do? And are you breathing correctly to manifest what you want to do in your life? And I would guess no. I would guess no. And then there's also tantric breathing where you don't necessarily need to have a sex partner to do tantric breathing. The somatic part of it isn't always release, if that makes sense, you guys. So we're not like, oh, I had a terrible childhood, or I had a bad day, or somebody was mean to me, or I don't have enough money to get a Ferrari this month. Maybe, but not this month. And yeah, it's transcendence, you guys. And I really feel like if more of us focused on transcendence instead of what's happening in the news, what's the orangutan doing now? Will people have money to pay for groceries? Those. yes, are real for the people who are experiencing them. And I'm not saying don't care. I'm saying that there are some really remarkable people out there. Like if you have kids or if you're around kids, you know who Miss Rachel is. And she's fantastic. And she's also really doing a lot to transcend in her community, which is children of all shapes and sizes. And I remember when I was first made aware of her, I was like, wow, she's so sweet. She's so easy. I feel relaxed watching her with my little grandson. And yeah, let's just turn on some Miss Rachel and just chill. Granny wants to have some chill time with Miss Rachel. And I would say that's how we breathe with people. Find the people whose breath, find the people whose words are relaxing, who bring you to a new space of transcendence. And so I would say Guillermo is going to be leading you in that direction. And how you ask him questions, like experiment, guys, experiment. This is a buffet. This is not a la carte. So I would say have an ongoing conversation with Guillermo about what's going on in your life, about where you want to go, about who you want to meet you there, and the breath work that he will prescribe in 70 sets of air quotes will be amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I would say, yes. This isn't to replace group breath work. I was actually in a really transformative workshop on the weekend that was equine assisted healing. And that was just extraordinary. I have a friend who's an amazing healer, and her horses are amazing. And I had just an extraordinary experience. As you know, I grew up around horses, and every year we had baby horses, and so I was around babies. And she has a baby horse that was born in May, and so he's a little Taurus, which I mean, yes, I'm always around Tauruses and or Tauri, whatever you want to call them. And it was super great. And then the tail end of this transformative workshop, they did somatic breath work. And yeah, it was dropping that transformation out of your aura and right into your cells, you guys. So freaking delicious. So, do I want you to do this every day? Yeah, I freaking do. Do I want you to have a really great relationship with Guillermo where you're like, Guillermo, Ma, but you're also like, Guillermo, oh my freaking God. I had something amazing happen to me today. Can we use some breath work to anchor it in so I'm not banging up against my work glass ceiling or my finances glass ceiling or my happiness glass ceiling or my willingness to be loved and receive love glass ceiling. Yeah. So we can use it for transformation, and we can also use it for manifestation, but we can also use it if we have a really shitty time. And, somewhere in between Sybil and Guillermo, it's just going to be so freaking juicy. You're like, okay, I have all the resources that I need at every moment of the day. Well, right now we have some pretty big transformative processes inside the Success Seekers Sanctuary. And we're only on bot number 6. And yeah, so to finish this off, I'm pretty stoked about it. And Carrie's smiling and nodding, so I know she's stoked about it. What should we leave people with? The vision I'm getting is just that their cells might not be set to receive. Do you know what I mean? So it's like back in the olden days. Remember when we had those giant satellite dishes? They were like 10 feet across or 15 feet across or something like that. And you had to go and like crank them and see if you could aim them at something else to go, and get like Disney Channel or whatever the version of Disney Channel was back then. And then you'd accidentally get porn or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if their cells are not set to receive, then what they're receiving is not correct for their transformation. And I know I'm such a huge fan of this class that I did on how to use your eclipses and how to use the full moons of the year to be able to predict what you're supposed to be manifesting. I'm a huge fan. So maybe you just take that class and you figure out what your eclipses are for this year, and then what are the full moons, and what are the black moons, and really notice what you're not ready to receive. Because this year was like fourth house and 10th house for me. So there needed to be a huge transformation in my business model, which there is. And not to say I'm not seeing one-to-one clients because I am. But I'm loving these bots and I'm flying. I'm like, oh, you need this one, you need this one to my one-to-one clients. And it's just fun for me. Absolutely fun for me. I'm loving this new business model. And then also my primary residence. Now, am I supposed to live in an apartment? Absolutely freaking not. Did it work for me at the time? Yes, because I needed a safe place for me and my dog to move to when I was going through my divorce. And it was available. I was allowed to move in with a dog, thank fucking God. And now, no, I'm just not supposed to be here. And my new place, if I decide that I want to get a dog, I can have a dog, or I can just play with the dog that lives on the property that's absolutely freaking gorgeous dog. I'm in love already. And I think it's like mutual. So, who's my favorite person in the whole freaking world to talk about who is a leader? Is Dr. David Hawkins' Power versus Force and all of his other amazing books talking about the frequency of leadership. And so the frequency of leadership is powerful. The frequency of manifestation is actually through love, is through joy, is through delight, is through just being so like delighted. Or especially for me, that's my brand, is being delighted and having so much fun with my life. And when I'm off brand, it means I'm serious. Like if I'm stone cold serious, I'm absolutely off brand and out of my manifestation. So to be embodied in your leadership, I feel like I could go on for like 15 minutes or 15 hours, but to be embodied in your leadership means that you know how you manifest. And I know for myself, it was interesting. I was having a conversation with my dance partner, my instructor, and he was saying he gets nervous when he's going on stage, and I just don't. I don't. I'm nervous in my day-to-day life. I'm like, oh God, I'm making the wrong decisions. I'm just like, freaking out about my day-to-day life. And he's just not. He's like, oh, I get everything I want. He's just fucking calm in his day-to-day life. But the actual adrenaline makes him nervous, and adrenaline makes me calm. So if you know how you manifest, then this embodiment process is just easy because you're going through life in a body. You got in the lineup, you won the lottery, you got your human body, no matter what shape or size or age or dimension or like whatever you look like, however you show up, whatever the tone of your voice is. This is what you signed up for, is to have this beautiful sensual experience where you can like eat pad thai and you can go dancing and you can ski or you can go swimming in the ocean. Like, oh my God, you guys, like this embodiment, so huge. And then some of us are here to be leaders, and some of us are here to actually just watch leadership. Some of us are here to like critique leadership. Some of us are here to just be gentle. And I would say for myself, like in my charts, I'm actually supposed to not be a leader. And you guys are probably like, oh God, Jennifer, shut up. But that, standing on stages, telling people what to do, like running for government, running for office, being the mayor of the town that I live in. Like, I mean, that could never happen because there's way too much of what I really think of the world on YouTube. No. And, but what I am here to be and do is to lead from the middle. So that's my version of leadership. So having conversations with people who are already having these types of conversations. So, you maybe experimented with work. Maybe you, I mean, there's a ton of leadership in breath work, and maybe you've downloaded some apps. Maybe you've done heart math, which I freaking love. Maybe you've got one of those little coherence ear clip things, and like there's just so much available in the somatic breathwork space. And I think the more calm you get, the better. Mhm. And the more that, there's just like sort of an effervescent bubble in my world, probably the better. Like if that's how I live my life, if that's how I manifest is through this sort of like nervousness, this like effervescent bubble, then yeah, you know, that calm, that deadly calm means that there's too much adrenaline happening. And so we know what happens. Then you end up with fatigue, you end up with chronic fatigue. Um, yeah, I love the idea of embodied leadership. And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. It's like, okay, so are you a calm creator or are you an adrenaline creator? And, you could actually have this conversation with Guillermo. You could be like, today I created through adrenaline, and now I feel like I need to go to bed. But I would like to breathe that out of my cells. And I will tell you that adrenaline needs to be breathed out of your cells. You need to actually go move your body. So you can do your breath work and move your body at the same time. You can actually ask Guillermo, like, hey, I want to do somatic breath work, but I would like to do some uh shaking, like when you just shake your body like a dog. Have you done that, Carrie? You just shake your body like a dog. So you guys might want to try that. And yeah, this is what I want to leave you with. You have one earth body, you know, unless you're, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and then, you might get a few more livers than you're allowed to have. Um, and the deeper you have an embodiment process with breathing, the more your blood moves, the more your lymph moves, the more your body is just so deeply healthy. And wouldn't that be amazing? Like, what if you gave yourself a year to be just so much healthier? And, what if you had a way different approach to being healthy? What if it's not about like keto or paleo or Cheerio? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, really, who gives a fuck, you guys? I would love for you to have a deeply delicious, delightful experience with Guillermo. Um, yeah, I think it's just so interesting, and that's what I want to invite you to. Like almost like using breath as a way to, I want to say, approve of yourself. Like, wouldn't that be freaking cool? What if you could use breath as a way, like somatic breathwork processes, as a way of deeply loving and approving of yourself? I mean, yes, tapping, Sybil's like, even though this shit is happening, I deeply love and approve of myself, or whatever she says. And, but like, what if breathing was a way of like breathing in gratitude, breathing in a deep amount of approval for yourself? Yeah. So try it. Uh, yeah. So you're already a member. Who else needs this stuff, you guys? So we're coming up on gift season. And, if your friends are whining that their business needs a facelift, they need to talk to Brian. If your friends are whining about soon to be exes, they need to talk to Sybil. If your friends are, yeah, their business needs a facelift, their psyche needs a facelift. This is number 6 of 46 bots that we're going to be releasing. So I can't even fathom it. Like, how lucky am I to live in a world where I can just build these for you? And I know how to build them. It's just magic. I feel like bippity boppity boo. Super fun. Super love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I love feedback, so let me know. I did get some amazing feedback from someone. She went into the Success Seekers Sanctuary and bought a year-long membership, which is 77 bucks. And she says that she got 1,000 times the investment, and she had only like been messing around and having a look at things for 24 hours. So that's some feedback that I received, and I always love great feedback. And if the feedback isn't great, please let me know, because there may be a bot that I need to build for you. So maybe I might do that if I'm inspired. So super love you. Take care, you guys. Mwah. Ciao.